lot of people around the world are getting ready to celebrate a holiday in which they traditionally give some sort of a gift. I thought it would be appropriate for us to talk about the bestowing of gifts, both literally and imaginatively. So it's important that we model for our kids who are on the spectrum and our young adults who are on the spectrum what it is to give a gift, right? And part of gift giving, as it used to be traditionally, was being mindful about what would make the other person happy. I love to hear people's ideas about how to give a gift. I remember one person who said, you should never give a gift to somebody that suggests that they can be better, that it's something that's going to help them or cure them. And I was like, really? Because I always thought that was such a great thing to give as a gift. But then I got to thinking about it and thinking, oh, I could see where that would be misinterpreted, right? And I do think that it's important for all of us to learn perspective taking with gift giving, that to not think about what would we like, right? Because a lot of people, that's how they gift, right? But important to think, what would that person like? That really shows being mindful about that person. It requires perspective taking. So we know that our kiddos sometimes struggle with perspective taking. We've talked ad infinitum about the Sally Ann test and how, you know, our kids who are on the spectrum often don't get it in the way that other kids do. So what better thing than the holidays to make a list of the people that you want to give gifts to, and that the person that you care about that's on the autism spectrum. And I mean, really, if they're 3 years old or they're 30 years old, you can do this with them, right? At whatever, you meet them at whatever point they are, you make some sort of a list if you have to do the list for them, but, you know, having a discussion about it. And sometimes it's more you talking than them, but do it with them, right? And then to start to think about, well, what would each person like? And what that does is it primes the pump for them to think, well, okay, what do we know about them? Like, what things can we notice? And to do it weeks enough in advance so that they can be watching. I remember before I did Autism Live, I was hosting a radio show, Everyday Autism Miracles, and I had interns who were on the autism spectrum. And one of them during this time of the year said to me, man, it's just so stressful because I don't know what to get my mom. And, you know, I got to get something fabulous for my mom because my mom does all this stuff for me. So I want to get her something really fabulous, but who can tell what to get her? When I ask her, what do you want? She says, I don't need anything, right? And I listened to his angst about it as there were therapists in the other room working with my son on exactly this particular skill, and he was 6, okay? So it was interesting to me to see, okay, this is what it's like with a 6-year-old, and this is what it's like with a 21-year-old. And they were saying to my son, you know, like, you get to be a spy and you get to look at the person and go, like, what do I see them wear? What's on their desk? Are there patterns? Like, is there a color that they wear? Do they have animals, figurines on their desk? Like, what's on their notebook? What color is their computer? Is there any stickers on their iPad? All these different things. So what was so amazing to me was when we went shopping that year for the person that was his case manager, he picked a pair of earrings that were black. And I remember saying to him, why? And he goes, well, clearly everything Sabrina wears is black. Sabrina is all about the color black. And that was so exciting to me. And she was so thrilled with the gift of the earrings, but she was more thrilled with the story because it meant that he had paid attention to who she was. So there's that kind of mindful giving. And I want everybody to stop for a moment. And instead of being on the rat race of, what can you get somebody that makes it look like you spent a lot of money, right? We all do that. I do that, right? Instead of that, what would they really like? What would make them happy? Because sometimes that is not something that you spend money on. And in fact, that's when I want to pivot into talking about the bestowing of gifts that's just maybe imaginary. That there are some cultures and there are some religions that think one of the greatest gifts that you can do is to sit mindfully and wish a wish upon the person you're thinking about. That there are people in different cultures and different religions that as they're walking through a village, that they acknowledge and say hello to somebody, but as they're doing it in their mind, they think, I wish all happiness for you and yours, or something like that. I've heard people talking about whatever it is that you want for yourself, to wish that for your enemy. You know, like what a concept, right? But when you think about that, what we think becomes what we say, becomes what we do, becomes our experience of the world, then if you are spending your day today going through and every time you see somebody thinking, I hope good things happen for you, how different will you feel at the end of the day than being caught up in your own stuff or being miserable? I can tell what my thought process is when I'm driving by what I meet on the road, because we are all mirrors reflecting out into the world. When I'm angry and furious, and believe me, I am sometimes, and I'm angry and furious and I'm stuck in traffic and I'm like, why did you do that? In my mind, I'm not saying anything out loud most of the time. Sometimes I say things too, but I find that people are always in my way when I'm driving that way, and somebody pulls in front of me and it's all, right? But there are other times, if I remember to do this, that I'll be happy and I'll be driving along in my car and I'll see somebody in the car next to me and I think, gosh, I hope good things happen for them. I hope they've got somebody who loves them and I hope good things for them, right? And then it becomes sort of infectious, because once I do it once, it's reinforcing. It is. And it's automatically reinforcing. And then I'll think, oh, that felt good. So then I'll turn and, I'll see somebody and I'll go, oh, I hope good things happen for them. And then I start to, look at everybody and do that. And you know what I find? That suddenly the traffic is lighter, and I'm not kidding. It's not just my perception of it. The traffic is lighter, and somebody lets me in front of them. And, it feeds upon itself. Don't take my word for it, though. Take it out for a trot today. See how it is when you think of bestowing gifts on everybody that you see. Wish a wish upon somebody and see what happens. It's a great way to be mindful and to go through this season very mindful. Try it.